Ground ball. McLean, second. 12 in a row. The oldest team in professional baseball has its 5th ever winning streak of a dozen straight.
Our job every day is to try to kick somebody's ass. I mean, that's why we're here.
That is caught. Left center. Reds win.
This ball is launched high and very deep to right, long gone. It's second of the night. Ellie De La Cruz. Short lead for Pena. Logan drills it. Do you believe this? It's going to be gone. Back to back. Walk-off home runs. How about this? He's back. He's back. He's back.
And a swing and a drive. Deep left field. This one belongs to the Reds. Swung on and hit deep to left field. That ball is going to be gone. Home run from the Reds for his tie to score.
Goes to second one. Around to first. Got a double play. And the Reds sweep the Cubs. Breaking ball. Hit high. Hit deep. Way back there. And gone into the second deck and left. Christian Encarnacion Strand walks it off.
Karcher does it in his major league debut. He gets the final 3 outs, and the Reds get an extra inning win. A thriller 5-4.
Swung on. Fly ball. Hit to deep right field. That ball is going to be gone. A grand slam home run by Mike Cameron.
2 outs, 2 on. Reds down by 1. Larkin down the line. This will win it. This will win it. Here comes Tucker. Here comes Steins. Larkin's won the game. Barry Larkin gets mobbed. Look at this scene. It's synergy.
The stretch, the pause and the pitch. And a line drive, base hit left center field. A single for Aaron Boone. And this one belongs to the Reds. The Reds have won 8 in a row.
Kobayashi with a long look turns it loose and
Dunn hits it to deep right. It's all over. And this one belongs to the Reds. The Reds have won their 5th game in a row. They've defeated the Cleveland Indians on an Adam Dunn 3-run home run, 4-2.
in on the corners at first and third. 2 on, nobody out. Here's Royce Ring pitching, no bunt. Ground ball
By the third baseman into left field. Jay Bruce rounds third. And this one belongs to the Reds.
That's hit pretty good. Guess what? He doesn't need speed. That's gone. He's the king of the Queen City tonight.
with 1 out here in the 11th inning. You sure got to go now.
Swung on, pull down the left field line. That ball is going to get the winning run in. Here comes Jay Bruce rounding third, heading toward the plate. And this one belongs to the Reds.
Huge situation for Votto. Why you paying the big bucks to deliver the goods with 2 outs in the 9th inning? Can he do it? In the gap right center field, and Votto delivers the goods.
Hit deep center field. Hank Hill going back at the warning track. It's gone. Joey Votto is delivered.
Welcome in, Reds fans, and everybody say it with me. Ladies and gentlemen, start
your
engines. It's time for the Speedway Classic. My name is Mike Hart, and today is August 2nd, 2025, and the Cincinnati Reds play the Atlanta Braves at Bristol Motor Speedway. And joining me today, the biggest racing fan I know. I don't actually know if you're a big racing fan or not, but guy who's excited for the Reds to get some national shine here. My man, Ricky Logan. How are you doing today?
Doing well. Seeing a lot of cool social media posts from the Reds with this. Ellie throwing batting practice to Tim McGraw. Brent Suter with the bald cap. Like there's a lot of cool things, and the way this game's been marketed, it's awesome. And I hope it's a good game overall, and they actually get it in. I know there's some rain in the forecast, but yeah, it's awesome. How's your Saturday going?
Oh, my Saturday's been great. Went to a T-ball game, mowed some grass, took a little nap. Can't really ask for much better than that on a Saturday, especially if we can end it with a Reds win. But I think obviously these new venue places are always really exciting. I kind of wish they would make it more than just a game. I know they talked about how the Reds are kind of just flying in. They think they flew in this morning and are flying out again tonight and just spending the Sunday in Chicago. So I think I'd like it. It would be cool if they did multiple games there or something like that. I don't know, maybe they can't quite do that with the schedule or the field or whatever. It looks like the field's been ready for a while, though. That'd be cool, though, if they'd be able to like play a 2-game series there or something like that, where something like you play 2 games in Atlanta and then 2 games in Cincinnati, and then your third series is they each get a home game at Bristol or something like that. I think that could have been pretty cool, but overall still pretty excited to have the Reds showcase their team to hopefully some new fans, some fans that are like, I wonder who, maybe they're not that into baseball or don't know much about
La Cruz guy is pretty good.
Yeah. And so maybe they're tuning in for the first time and hopefully they're able to put on a show.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, getting eyes on the sport, getting eyes on 2, mid-market teams like that, it's fun to see. Like if you can get eyes on Ellie, eyes on McLean, eyes for the Braves, eyes on Spencer Strider, eyes on he's not playing today, but Ronald Acuna Jr. Like it's cool. Like I see in the chat, the Field of Dreams game, that was cool too, and the Reds were a part of that. And I think the dugouts in this game are the same dugouts from the Field of Dreams game.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I kind of like these kind of novelty games and things like that. So I'm interested. Where do you think they should go next? All right, I know I'm putting you on the spot here, but Ricky, where should the next novelty game be?
I got a fun one for you.
Okay, all right.
It's sticking with the racetrack theme. You could probably put 2 ballparks in Daytona and just have 2 games in the same stadium.
Oh, that'd be wild. Like a home run, like you're back at Little League where a home run goes over the fence and goes onto the field of the other game. And they have to like pause it because it's like they have to go out and get Ellie De La Cruz's moonshot that he tossed onto the other field. Oh, I like that one. The one that I was thinking of was they do something where they, make it kind of like the Sandlot. With like the fence on the back, with, where they obviously the Sandlot wasn't a full field and things like that. But it would be cool if they could like design it to look similar to how it does in that movie. And then, get fireworks going, maybe not during the game. That's probably not allowed, but, have something like that to celebrate that really cool movie. I have a lot of fond memories watching that one. So I think that could be a pretty fun one. That they could watch too. So thanks for participating in my exercise with me, Ricky. If you guys have any other good ideas, please post them in the chat. It's a fun little game, but we're here having fun. We appreciate everyone that's here. Oh, thank you, Jacob Doyle. I appreciate it. Sandlot would be pretty sweet.
I did see some rumors that they were going to rebuild the Polo Grounds, and they were going to do in 2029, I think. Yeah.
That's the one with the 530
foot center field.
Yeah, the one where Willie Mays makes that catch.
Yeah.
And there's it's a home run in every modern ballpark.
Yeah.
Because he's, it's so big. That's so crazy. So let's talk a little bit about a couple moves that are made leading up to this game as well. And none of them were too surprising, to be honest. But Connor Joe was optioned down to AAA, and so was Lyon Richardson. Lyon Richardson has really struggled recently, and so I think it makes a lot of sense for him to go down there and hopefully gain some confidence back. And then Connor Joe, really the odd man out here. He was there to brought on left-handed pitching, and he really didn't do that very well. And Duhar, when he was traded for, the very obvious thing was that he was taking the Connor Joe role, the guy who's going to start against left-handed pitching, come in against left-handed relievers in a pitch hit role. So that makes sense. And then Littell was added. I was a little interested that they did that rather than maybe another bullpen arm, because I think we'll get to it later. The bullpen is really, really been taxed. And I saw he was pitching a bullpen, like in the bullpen out there today. So he's not going to be able to pull a Nick Martinez and pitch his bullpen in the regular game. I don't think very many people can do that or want to do that, which makes what Nick Martinez did even more impressive. But so we'll get to that. But there's Friedel also came back, but because they're at a neutral site game, they were allowed a 27th man. So because of that, they didn't have to make a decision yet on, who that odd man out is going to be. Is it going to be Benson? Is it going to be Espinal? Is it going to be somebody else? So I guess, what are your thoughts on some of the demotions that happen and what we might see in the future here once we get back to normal baseball?
Yeah, it was the right thing to do. I'll be interested in what they do tomorrow with the 27th man going away. Yeah, Connor Joe, he was only batting like I had it pulled up, like 150 something or 160 this season for the Reds, and it's just he had that start where he had like 3 hits or something in his first 2 games, and then he just fell off. But yeah, Ryan Richardson, he's been really surprising this year. He had a really good start to the year, but he is 0-3 with a 4.15 ERA up to this point. And yeah, Connor Joe 186 is what I had with a 5.06 OPS.
23 WRC plus against left-handed pitching.
Yeah, and then that's what he's supposed to do, is hit against left-handed pitching, and he's not. So I'm glad that they did that and they didn't go with the Will Benson demotion, which I think a lot of people on social media were thinking was going to happen. And Zach Littell, I think, but with Martinez, he will be going to a bullpen role. Littell is going to take his spot in the rotation from what I'm seeing. And I doubt Martinez pitches today. He threw 103 pitches on Wednesday, but
See, I think I disagree. I think that this is, and we'll get to it when we get to the bullpen. I think we're going to need him. I think,
we're going to need him for sure.
Because Pagano and Santillan, I think, are down, and we'll get to that. But I think that we will see them anyway. But what are your thoughts on what's going to happen once we need to get rid of that 27th man?
Yeah, the one that I think people want to see is Santiago Espinal. But defensively, he's not bad. He's not hitting great.
Well, go ahead. Sorry.
But you want Andujar to fill that role of Espinal. Obviously, Espinal is a miles better defender than Andujar is. But Andujar just offers power. He did have 27 home runs in his rookie season, but he's only had 22 in the 7 years since. So I don't know. I'm trying to. I don't know who they would realistically move down, because you would think Luis May would be like one of the more obvious ones, but like you're losing that reliever that you really desperately need, and I want to see an extended look at him. I don't think he's had that extended look to where we really know who he is in the major league level yet.
Yeah, it's really tough. And I think maybe that dovetails into just this lineup and the fact that there is no Benson in this lineup. I think it's pretty safe to say that Austin Hayes is nursing something. The fact that he's DH'd the last, 3-4 games, I think he was in left field and they scratched him out of him to be a DH. So he's clearly nursing something, which I get puts you in a tight spot. But man, it's tough to see. You bring in Ke'Bryan Hayes, who's been the worst qualified hitter. He's been okay, but you bring him in because he brings awesome defense, and I guess that makes sense. But I think Nick Kirby pointed this out. It's just if you're going to make sure you focus on defense on the infield, why are we then punting defense in the outfield? Gavin Lux has been brutal. I don't remember the outs above average, but it's not been good. And both Fraley and Benson would be an upgrade against Gavin Lux defensively in the outfield against the right-handed pitcher, Spencer Strider. And it's not like Gavin Lux's bat has been lighting the world on fire. And it's we got to get this guy's bat into the lineup. So it's pretty baffling why at least not one of them are in the lineup. I actually have in my what to watch for. I had some thoughts about some of the matchups that we'd have, and maybe that will give a little bit of an explanation. Maybe they're playing matchups. We'll see. Tito has been a little bit more quick for replacements and things like that, but I just, it's okay, maybe Benson and Fraley are going to get in the game to pinch hit, but who is he pinch hitting for? Like who would he pinch hit for here, right? He's not pinch hitting for Friedel, McLean, Cruz, or Hayes. Like those guys are those guys I don't think have been pinch hit for all year. Even though, and then Gavin Lux, if you pinch hit for Gavin Lux, it's just like the reason you would be pinch hitting for Gavin Lux is because they're facing a lefty. And that is, obviously you wouldn't pinch hit Benson or Fraley for that at all. Marte, maybe, but Marte's been one of your best hitters. It's like, and if it's, I can't imagine that's the case. Spencer Steer, Tyler Stevenson, they haven't shown that they'd be willing to do that either. And then Cabrian Hayes, if you pinch hit for him, you lose his glove, which is the only reason he's in there in the first place. So the only way I see them getting a pinch hit is if they have to pinch hit for Lux early in the game with somebody like Andujar. And then the lefty comes in or a righty comes in later to face Andujar, and then they have to pinch hit for Benson or Fraley as well. So that's the only way I see them getting in this game, which is really unfortunate. I mean, Benson won you the game yesterday. Benson, was the only person that manufactured anything for the Reds yesterday, and he's got a matchup that is good, and then you don't put him in the lineup. It's pretty frustrating to see. I know, I don't know why. There's people got a lot of thoughts on it. But man, I just, having Benson in that spot, even if it's batting fifth right behind Hayes, like let's put that pop in the lineup. Let's try to keep going the momentum that we had. Usually I see things online where people are like, man, Benson had this huge game. Why are you sitting him in the next game? And it's often because they're facing left-handed pitching. And to be honest, I understand that he's really struggled over his career to hit left-handed pitching, but this is against a right-handed pitcher. So it doesn't make sense. I can't make sense of it. You've got somebody who's worse offensively and worse defensively, and batting fifth in your lineup, and that's what we decided to run out here. So
yeah, so I have it was -6 outs above average.
Yeah,
for Lux, and I don't know if it's a breaking news yet. It's not an official word, but the tarp is on the field right now currently. But yeah, I mean, like it seems like the obvious move would be if Hayes is nursing something, because he hasn't been great over his last 7 games. He's 4 for 23, and he's just had some really bad at bats. He's rolling over balls to the shortstop. He's striking out a lot, and it's the move to me would be to have Lux DH and you put Benson in left field.
Yeah, and you'd sit a Hayes or something like that. Yeah, or put Fraley in left field and Benson at DH. Both of those guys are hitting better than Hayes and Lux. So
yeah, like Fraley's got a 231 WRC plus since the All-Star break, and he hits that home run against the Dodgers and then just sits.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because I think we both enjoy. This is why I think we all thought that one of those guys were going to get traded at the deadline because Fraley and Benson are pretty redundant, right? And they're both hitting pretty well. Well, I guess Benson maybe was struggling coming in, but getting regular playing time in center field was starting to turn it up, and we decided to sit him on the bench. I don't know. Do you have any more comments on that before we go through the rest of the lineup? I know we've, I got as heated as I'm not Trace when it comes to these type of things, but that's about as heated as you'll get me on the camera, I think.
Yeah, I think you said everything I was going to say.
All right. Anything else with this lineup? Do you want to take us through that maybe sticks out to you?
Yeah, I guess one narrative that I have, Spencer Steer has been clutch over the last few games. He had that triple the other day. He had the home run. But he's batting 150 over his last 7. And then everyone talks Matt McLean, and you see his batting average on the season. And they're like, oh, he's terrible this season. He strikes out. He does this. But he's batting 300 over his last 15 games. And he's got a 730 OPS in that stretch. So it's funny how like the narratives with that. And I kind of liked the lineup the other day where it was McLean leading off, Marte batting second, and Ellie batting third. I kind of liked that change. And if I remember right, I think Marte had a 3-hit game that game. And I know both McLean had a 3-hit game 2 days ago.
That was the 11-12 game, and both McLean, Marte, and Ellie all had 3 hits.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like that top of the lineup, and you're still. I mean, you're going righty, I guess, switch, but righty, lefty, or righty, depending on the situation. But like, I like that if you're not going to move Ellie up, Marte's been really good and somewhat consistent this year, and McLean's kind of figuring it out. I think he's still kind of dealing with the shoulder, and he's not going to say it publicly, but you don't just figure it out after missing a year and some change of playing baseball. And I just think that the future to me is those three at the top of the order.
Yeah, and I think it's less of McLean is still hurt and more of McLean took a year off of baseball.
Yeah,
is more what it is. And this is me projecting, and I really hope that's the case. I hope that he can really end the year strong. Boy, are we going to need it for this playoff push, because the Padres never lose again, it seems. But and then be able to move that into a productive next year is hopefully what we can get out of McLean. Because the beginning of this year was just absolutely brutal. It looks like we have McLean playing right field in here. That's a typo on our part. It's all right. He's playing second base. He's not playing right field. Do we want to talk about Chase Burns, our flamethrower that gets a big stage here? Pretty excited about that.
I got some
Burns. His last start, he went 5 2/3, 6 hits, almost got through the 6th inning against the Dodgers. He gave up 3 earned runs, 10 strikeouts, and more importantly, I think only 1 walk. He's starting to dial in that command, and man, he was so close to getting out of that inning. It felt like, and couldn't go. It would be awesome to see him get through 6 or more today. What'd you have on Chase Burns?
Yeah, so he had 10 strikeouts his last time out. He's the second Reds pitcher since 1900 to have 10 strikeouts in 3 straight starts. There are some more stats on that too. Only 8 pitchers since MLB moved the mound to its current distance in 1893. There have only been 8 pitchers since 1893 to throw 10 strikeouts or more in 3 consecutive outings at the age of 22 or younger. Pitchers who have thrown 4 in a row, got some good names for you. Bob Feller and Al Downing. Okay. And then to throw 5 in a row, Dwight Gooden's the only one to have that.
Yeah, he was pretty good, wasn't he? Yeah. It's been great. And to be honest, he's 22. You see that the ceiling is just way up there. And to be honest, the way he pitches, you almost feel like he's got even more. And like, if he can get better third time through the lineup, this dude could be an absolute stud, right? He could be somebody who just, becomes your stopper, your ace over somebody like a Hunter Green because of, what he's got there. I see 10 strikeouts, and while I love that he's striking people out, what I would love to do is see him getting, especially today where we need it. The bullpen is taxed, man. If he could go in and he's going to get his strikeouts because his stuff is so nasty. But if he could maybe get his 10th strikeout in the 7th inning or something like that, maybe not have like 6 strikeouts through 2 innings where he strikes out the side but has 50 pitches and stuff like that. And I know that's a lot to ask. It's like, this is a young guy who's still learning how to pitch, who's got incredible stuff and still dialing in his command. He's literally learning on the fly in the big leagues, which is like, it's like mind-boggling, how impressive that is. But if he can really nail in that, like, what if he went 7 full innings of no-run baseball today? Like, how impressive would that be, and necessary and needed for this team who is, the bullpen is absolutely gassed.
Yeah, and I think an underrated aspect of that, of him learning on the fly, is he's 22, learning on the fly, and with the team trying to compete for the playoffs out of necessity of him being called up. Like, we needed him in the rotation because Chase Petty hasn't been there yet.
No. And
Burns, like you said, he has the potential to be a number 1. And, he threw 5 2/3 against the Dodgers. He had 6 hits. He had 1 walk. Like, he's not walking guys hardly at all. Like, he's striking guys out, and he's actually doing a pretty decent job pitch count wise. I know the last couple games he's had about 90 pitches through 5, but I think the Phillies game, he had like 50 pitches, and then obviously he kind of tailed off a couple walks beginning of the game, but if he could really just kind of not walk as much or not strike out as many guys early and just kind of spread them out, I think he's number one starter easily in the next year or two.
Yeah, and that just takes time. Like that takes practice, that takes sitting there on the railing with Nick Martinez, with Wade Miley, with Derek Johnson, like talking about pitching, talking about how you can set people up, talking about how you can just let your stuff do the work and getting soft contact and letting your defense, be out in front of you, and then just reach back with what you have when you need it is really, that's how you improve as a pitcher. And what's great is he commented about that. He commented about how he needs to get better and he needs to get better quickly for this Reds team. So it's like, he's definitely somebody who's thinking about it. He's thinking about it's like, how can I get better each start? And golly, when you got talent like that, when you got stuff like that, and you got the head on your shoulders, it's like, I need to get better. I need to get better. I need to get better. That's when you have somebody special. And boy, if we could have bona fide ace out of there, I know people are looking at Nick Kurtz and what he's doing to baseballs out in Oakland or Sacramento and kind of wishing that was a part of what we have. But it's just like, if we can get a bona fide ace here who, can come up to the big leagues, learn on the fly, and just like carry us into a playoff contention, boy, I don't think I regret one second getting who we did at second overall there.
Yeah, I think the biggest issue with Burns too is he's just not getting any run support, so he has no room for any mistakes.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Let's talk a little bit about the opposing lineup as we move in here. Hopefully we don't spend too much time on these guys because Chase Burns is going to be mowing them down. Jurickson Profar, left fielder, leading off. Matt Olson, first baseman, batting second. Austin Riley at third. Drake Baldwin. We have no Marcell Ozuna in tonight. He's DHing. Batting fourth, Sean Murphy catching and batting fifth. Michael Harris the second, playing center. Ozzy Albies at second base. Down in the lineup, even though he has smacked around the Reds so far in this series. Eli White batting eighth and playing right field. And then slick fielding Nick Allen batting ninth and playing shortstop. Do you have any numbers on how none of them probably faced Burns. He's new.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on this lineup and who, what you're looking to or who you're looking out for in this bit right here?
I don't have a whole lot about these guys. I just think that we're really kind of lucky. Well, you never want to see anybody hurt, but just not having Ronald Acuna Jr. in the lineup, I think he's been nursing they said it was Achilles tightness. Hopefully that's all it is.
He's on the IL, so I don't think he's even eligible to play, right?
Yeah. You want him to be okay, but then you're thankful that you're not facing him either. Jurickson Profar leading off. He's batting .225 on this season with a .659 OPS. I don't know if they have any better options to lead off, but and then Matt Olson and Austin Riley really haven't had their best seasons this season either. It's kind of been a weird season for Atlanta because you had Acuna, hurt to begin the season, and those guys can really carry a team, and they just haven't really.
Yeah, and I mean, this has been the season from hell for the Braves, right? This is just like, if he feels anything in Achilles, why would you play your star? It's just like they're not going anywhere this series. It's like, hey, sit until you feel absolutely right, because boy, that's not worth missing all of next year because you tried to play through it in meaningless games in August. And Jurickson Profar is kind of going through the Noel V. Marte treatment, right? He got busted for PEDs, sat out half a season, and now is back trying to prove that, maybe it wasn't a fluke and he's struggling. So when you're pressing like that, it makes a lot of sense that, that you're not having the results, but ultimately I don't think they really have very much else to run out there. So that's why we have what we have against them. And that's why the Reds should take advantage of it. There's really only a couple batters in here, especially with Ozuna out, that are, somebody that you're super scared of long-term wise, right? It's like this is a much lesser Braves lineup than we even saw earlier in the year, and then that we would, expect to see when they're at the peak of their power. So that's why we have to make hay against teams like this, when they're running out lineups that are obviously still have some big names in there that can do a lot of damage. Matt Olson, Austin Riley, they were a big part of that World Series run that they had. Well, I guess Austin Riley was. And, it's something that you're going to have to make hay with. And unfortunately, the Reds haven't against some of these lesser teams. Let's talk a little bit about Spencer Strider, 5-8, but a 3.71 ERA. His last start, he went only 5 innings, but 7 hits, 2 runs, and only 3 strikeouts. So, coming back from internal brace, Tommy John surgery, didn't start this year, and has come back and is starting to find his own. Pitched pretty well here of late. What are your thoughts on Spencer Strider?
Yeah, he's one of the best pitchers in the game. He had Tommy John in 2019 while he was in college. And I think the fear was when he hurt himself last year that he was going to need Tommy John, but they did the internal brace procedure. Not a doctor, have no idea how that works, but it did help his time to get back quicker. He wouldn't have had to miss a full season. I think he only missed about 6 months or so. Yeah, he's got a 2.81 ERA over his last 3 starts. He's actually gone 10 straight starts without allowing more than 3 runs. So he's been good, but the Braves offense hasn't been there for him either. And then active Reds, 4 for 18, a walk, 7 strikeouts, 29.4% whiff percentage. Tyler Stevenson's 1 for 3, Gavin Lux is 1 for 2, TJ Friedel's 2 for 3.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I think the last time he faced him was in 2023, so all pre-surgery. So we'll see. He throws a very good fastball and slider. It's very similar to Hunter Green. Got a very good fastball, slider, and then tries to throw a changeup and a curveball. Then he barely throws them and doesn't throw them very well. So we'll see. If he's on, man. It's going to be tough, but hopefully they can, maybe just get to him, foul off some pitches. He's going to get his strikeouts, but if we can get to that bullpen in the 6th inning, like his last start, I think we have a chance, because I think the Reds have fared pretty well against the Braves bullpen so far this series. And I would imagine that they could keep that going. Any other thing about the Braves before we move on to some of the pitching path to victory?
No.
All right. So speaking of bullpens, the Reds bullpen is what they like to call gassed. I think that Pagan and Santillan, your 8th and 9th inning guys, have pitched in 3 of the last 4 games. I think maybe even 4 of the last 6 games. And I think Pagan even said in his post-game comments that he was gassed. Like, he was like, I was fortunate enough to get through that game because I was not comfortable out there and I barely was on fumes. And usually when people talk like that, that means they're not pitching the next day. So, so that leaves us, like, what do we do in the bullpen? That leaves us Ashcraft, who has struggled recently, May, who has a hard time throwing strikes, Brent Suter. I can almost, if I were a betting man, I bet that we see Brent Suter at some point during this game, just partially because he can eat multiple innings and we might need that. And also because he's like the biggest, pardon my pun, curveball when after seeing Chase Burns. You see 100 miles an hour coming from the right side, and then you see 75 miles an hour coming from the left side for Suter. So I would imagine Suter's getting in this game. And then there's Sam Maul. And then the wild card is Nick Martinez, right? You said he threw 103 pitches on Wednesday. Usually the 3rd day after is the bullpen day. So I would imagine he's available. But, like, could we see Martinez close the game? The Reds are winning by 3, and we see Martinez in to pitch the 8th and the 9th inning. Do you think that's a possible thing? Or, what do you think happens there?
Yeah, it's funny when you talk about Burns and Suter. It's like going from the interstate to school zone.
Yeah, exactly.
To me, like, Tony Santillan's like the wild card because he's pitched so much lately, but he's been really, really good. He pitched yesterday. He pitched on the 30th. He pitched on the 29th. He pitched on the 27th. He pitched on the 26th. Pitched on the 25th, and he's been good. Like, he had his little struggle yesterday, where he got two runners on, but he worked himself out of it. Yeah, I don't. The bullpen is just it's so overused. Scott Barlow's up there in appearances. Tony Santillan actually leads active relief or what's the word? The leads qualified relievers in appearances.
Yeah.
So
I think Barlow's second. Barlow
Yeah,
has
so-
pitched in 4 of the last 5 days.
yeah,
So-
so it's tough, man. You have Ashcraft who pitched 27 pitches on Tuesday and 25 on Thursday. And then Sam Moll didn't really look his best the other day either. So I don't know. Like Luis May is probably the freshest arm in the bullpen.
And part of it is the Reds have been playing a bunch of really close games. You know, games where it's like we need our bullpen to come in and it's high leverage stuff, which, you know, has led to wins, which is good. But you know, leads to a bullpen that is absolutely gassed. So man, if we've ever needed, you know, an explosion of runs at the beginning of this game, I think today is the day that we need that, right? Which is even more of a frustrating thing that feels like you're not putting your best offensive lineup out there, right? It's just like, could we use 7-0 going into the 6th inning? Yeah, we really could. Or, you know, because then we can pitch some of these guys and give some people a day that are normal high leverage guys. And then they get the day tomorrow as well. So, yeah, I really wish we could do that. But we'll see. We'll see. I think the Braves only used 1 reliever yesterday, so they probably they're good to go with Iglesias as their closer. But, you know, we've hit their bullpen pretty well. So we'll see. I've seen a couple things in the chat though, talking about the rain, and maybe let's talk a little bit about the weather. It looks like there's going to be light rain. You said the tarp is on the field. Somebody said, you know, rain. Let's see. David Bloom says that rain would actually help us today to give us another rest day. I completely agree. If the Reds get rained out today, I think I'm supposed to be on the post-game show with Nick Kirby, and I would never be so happy to not have to actually talk about a game, because I completely agree. It would really help the Reds. That being said, the Major League Baseball is going to do every possible thing in their power to not get this game rained out. Like, they put so much money into it, so much press and publicity into it. Like, this thing may be delayed till midnight tonight, and then it's like, we're playing. You know, it's like, we are not going to set all this up to not play the game. So, do I think a rain out would be helpful to the Reds? Yes. Do I think that it is likely? No. So we'll see. We'll see. I don't know what your thoughts are on the weather and what we have and what we can or up against here.
Yeah, I wanted to highlight this comment by David. What do they do if there's a rain out? I think that's why they scheduled Sunday off, really. Was to do that if they had to.
What do? They just play there again on Sunday?
I would assume so, yeah. I'm sure they would
Really?
just keep it. I don't know, because that'd be the biggest waste if they hype that up, rains out, and then it just doesn't happen. But
Interesting. My initial thought was that they basically bank that game and they play it if it matters at the end of the season. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it matters they find an off day and they play it. They have the Braves come to Cincinnati and they play a game or something like that. That would be my guess. But yeah, I guess I didn't think about playing it on Sunday. I just, you know, whenever you're playing on something like Speedway, I don't know what the racing season is like, but it's just like, you can't just be like, hey, I don't know. Maybe you can just be like, hey, yeah, we're going to wait another day before we start tearing it down. I don't know. But you know, I don't know how that would work, but either way, yeah, I think Major League Baseball is going to do everything in their power to get this game in.
yeah, the reports I'm seeing too, I had the weather app pulled up. I think it's just rain. I don't think there's any storms. I don't think lightning or anything would be a factor. So they could play in the rain. I just, you know, obviously if there's lightning, you would not. But yeah, and I know they're still doing the concerts. I've seen that on social media too. Like,
okay.
Tim McGraw's live right now. So,
All right.
Yeah, I feel like Sunday probably would be. That is probably why they had it left open, and they scheduled it the way they scheduled it, I would think.
All right. Well, yeah, that is. Let's hope we don't have to come to that. Maybe a little drizzle during the game, but a 10-0 Reds win would really do it for us. Let's talk a little bit about the NL Central. Do you have that one pulled up for us?
I do. All right,
what's going on? Let's include some wild card scores too, if you have all of the scores up there.
All right, I have the Brewers taking on the Nationals. The last time I checked, they were winning. The Cubs lost today. They blew a 3-0 lead in the 8th inning. Let me get the score pulled up here.
Was it Taylor Rogers who gave that up?
You know what?
Our secret.
He's our
agent
Trojan horse
on the Cubs. Yeah.
And then we're 3.5 games back. The Cardinals take on San Diego tonight. Pittsburgh's taking on Colorado. Funny enough about the Pittsburgh game, they were delayed the last I checked. That actually they're active now, bottom of the 8th, but they were up 9-0 in the first inning yesterday, and they lost 17-16.
Yeah. And believe it or not, may not have even been the craziest game of the day if you looked at that Marlins Yankees game. But this isn't a Yankees pregame show. I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that were crashing out about that game.
And then the Giants and the Mets. The Giants are ahead the Mets are leading over the Giants 7-4 in the bottom of the 7th.
I think it's 10-4 now.
Is it 10-4?
Yeah, it's 10-4 now.
Nice.
And then
that's about all I'm seeing. It's active today.
Padres and Cardinals.
Dodgers lost 4-0.
And then Padres and Cardinals play later on tonight. Did you see that one? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, that is our our NL Central rundown. Let us see here. Let's go to our what to watch for. But just as a reminder, this is where we ask you again to please like the stream. Please, subscribe to Chatterbox Reds. It really helps us in liking this. It's a fun thing that we get to do and talk about our favorite team. Also, please put in the chat right now what your thoughts are on what the score is going to be. We'll read them out while we talk about our what to watch for, and then we'll give our predictions as well. So drop your predictions in there and go ahead. So Ricky, what is your what to watch for tonight?
So I was doing a little digging. This is maybe, I don't know, maybe Tito checks on the betting lines. If you look at the history of Cleveland over the last couple of years, with I've wondered that it was with Ortiz and Class A gambling probe. Tito got out of there just in time.
Well, Ortiz he's on the
he wasn't right
Guardians for the first time this year. But anyway,
Gavin Lux has at least one single in 6 of his last 7 appearances against teams with the losing record. And Ellie De La Cruz has at least 1 RBI in 3 of the last 4 games.
All right. I'm not going to lie. That Lux stat doesn't really move the needle for me.
Not really.
Will Benson has a home run in the last game he played. That's my stat that I like to use. But yeah, it's interesting. My what to watch for is kind of about that. I was putting it together before it was announced that he wasn't playing. This is how much I thought that he was going to play, but we'll talk about it anyway. So it's basically Will Benson's matchup versus Spencer Strider's 4-seam fastball. So these are images that I took off of StatCast. So you can see here, you can see on the fastball, the red zones are where he likes to throw the ball. Or where the ball normally goes when he throws his 4-seam fastball. As you can see there, it's up in the top of the zone. And then if you look over on the right, that is Will Benson's strikeout percentages based on the zones. As you can see, there's a lot of blue up at the top for Will Benson. Blue's not good. That means, if you look at those overlays, 50% of the time a ball thrown in that top quadrant there, he's striking out. So, Will Benson has struggled against those high fastballs. And maybe this is part of the reason why he's not playing. You never know. I know that these teams have far more statistics than we do and far more matchup things that they're looking at. So maybe that is part of why he's not in there. But the interesting thing is you can see here, Strider's fastball, while he tries to keep it at the top of the zone, has a tendency to leak down to the middle of the plate. And as you can see there, the red of Will Benson is right in the middle of the plate. 5 and 4 are his percent strikeouts. It's like when that ball gets down, when that ball leaks down a little bit into the middle of the plate, that's where Will Benson crushes the ball. So that was going to be my what to watch for, is like if Strider can keep the ball up at the top of the zone, then that's something that you would Will Benson's probably not catching up to those. But if it were to leak down, Benson's going to smack one over the fence. But unfortunately, we don't get to see that. But I figured it's something that we can point out as well. It's just like these are things that professional teams look at that maybe is why he's not on the in the lineup, or maybe not. I don't know. Still pretty frustrating, but just interesting. Maybe on seeing whether Spencer Strider can dot that fastball at the top of the zone for his entire start or not. We'll see. Hopefully the Reds are able to get on top of that and hit the ball around the yard a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. We have some predictions in here. Let's see. Jacob Doyle says 7-3 Reds. We like that. We like the Reds winning on that one. Hopefully that's a comfortable 7-3. Maybe it's 7-1, and maybe Luis May gives up a couple runs in the ninth, but it doesn't really matter. I'd love that. We have JMR World 62-39, 6-4 Reds. I'd like that as well. Hopefully we'll be able to get Reds win here. We got Dunny. He says 4-1 Rays. I hope this doesn't happen, but the Reds 4-1 Braves, but the Reds always lose in the big stage. For example, Field of Dreams in 2020. Thank God Matt Reynolds for Matt Reynolds, or else we would be shut out in all three of those games, I think is what it continues. So he thinks the Braves are going to win. I hope not, Dunny. We got Steve Cashman with the 4-3 Reds. Optimistic John just says Reds win. Oh, sorry, Reds win. That's great. I'll take that. I don't care what the score is. I'll take a Reds win. I like that too. All right, I've stalled enough, Ricky. What's your prediction?
I think we're going to end the trend of losing on the big stage, and we are going to win 5-2. And I think Ellie is going to hit a home run.
All right. I love that. He does seem to rise to the occasion in some of these big stages, whether it's LA or New York and things like that. So it'd be really sweet if he's able to smack one over the fence. My prediction is the Reds jump on Strider early. He doesn't have his stuff, and they get out to a big lead and they win 8-1. Nice. 8-1, and we can save our bullpen. We go into Chicago with our big arms in the bullpen, fully rested. And I'd really, really like that. I think that that would be a much needed win. You guys can all chime in on the post game with Nick and I. We're going to be going live in the ninth inning there. Hopefully, excited about this cool venue and how the Reds have made an easy victory. And we've, Chase Burns has blossomed into a star right in front of our eyes. I'd love to hear all of that. So, any last words, Ricky, before we get going? We've been going for 45 minutes. It feels like, no, it's been 47 minutes. Actually, it doesn't feel that long. Actually, we've just been chatting.
Yeah, no, just like the stream. It's really, really fun time doing this with you. And I will say the last time we had a show together, I had the score prediction right. So hopefully
that is true. I forgot about that.
Two in a row here.
What'd you say? You said 5-2?
Yeah, 5-2. Yeah.
5-2. All right, book it. If anyone is a betting person, maybe lay a little cheddar on that.
Oh, we got another comment in here. This person, my 8-year-old son Lincoln, said 8-4. Hopefully 8-4 Reds.
Yes, of course. We know Lincoln is a diehard Reds fan. He's for sure coming in there and predicting the Reds win. I love it. Start him early on here on your Reds fandom. All right. Well, I think that's all we have. We thank you again, everyone that's in the chat and that's like the stream. We really appreciate you tuning in and chatting with us. And I guess without anything else to say, Ricky, I think you just got to hit us with a Go Reds.
Go Reds.